Welcome to the Godot BootCamp lesson on Reconnect authentication. Let's talk about what brainCloud does on a successful authentication request. The server returns a response with the profile ID. Then, the brainCloud wrapper will save the generated anonymous ID and the profile ID to the user's device. In order to re-authenticate with brainCloud using the same profile ID that we used in the previous lesson, we need to use a different brainCloud request, the Reconnect request. The Reconnect request will use the saved profile ID and anonymous ID to re-authenticate with the brainCloud server. For this request, there are no parameters that we need to supply. Open Visual Studio Code and navigate to the network.cs file. In the network class, we need to determine if the profile ID and the anonymous ID are already saved to the user's device. The brainCloud wrapper takes care of the saving and loading for us. Declare a public method called hasAuthenticated_previously. This method returns whether the brainCloud wrapper's profile ID and anonymous ID are empty strings or not. If they are not empty strings, that means that the user has already previously authenticated with brainCloud. Below that, declare a public method called Reconnect. This method takes in the authentication delegates as the parameters. In the body of the method, implement a success callback lambda. In the body of the lambda, invoke the handle authentication success method, pass in the response data and the authentication request completed delegate as the arguments. Then implement a failure callback lambda. In the body of the lambda, log an error message. And if the authentication request completed delegate is not null, it will be invoked. Make the Reconnect brainCloud request, passing in the success and failure callback lambdas as the arguments. Save the file and navigate to the game.cs file. Scroll down and find the handle authentication method. In the handle authentication method, we need to check if the user has previously authenticated with brainCloud. If they had previously authenticated, we'll show the connecting dialog and invoke the network's Reconnect method. Otherwise, we'll show the universal login dialog instead. Save the file and then compile the code. If the code compiled successfully, open the Godot editor. Run the game. Notice we connected automatically without entering the user ID and password. That means the Reconnect request was used and successful. The profile ID from the previous lesson, along with the anonymous ID, was used to authenticate the user. Before we end this lesson, there's one feature of the brainCloud design portal that I want to show you. Open your web browser and navigate to the brainCloud design portal. From the dashboard at the top next to App, click User. Click the top user in the list. On the right, a pop-out pane will appear. Click Go to User. This will take you to the user summary screen. This screen displays useful information about the selected user. Logging out an authenticated user is the next lesson in the Godot BootCamp.